Welcome to Card Gods Unleashed. I'm your host, J-Bone, host Courtney, and host UC Pike. Today we're going to be talking about some of our favorite products to just rip that's kind of nostalgic for us, and then might get into a little Super Bowl talk with that coming up pretty soon.
Yeah, it might cover some comping too.
Yeah, how to comp
We'll
some
see.
of these basic cards that are phenomenal cards depending upon what product we're looking at, and how to value them for short-term, long-term gain. Trying to help educate a little bit on that. All right. What's some of your guys' favorite product to rip then? Some big releases coming out, I think.
There's some releases coming out. Man, I've always been a higher end rip. I love National Treasures.
Ooh, Natty T.
Chasing, the true rookies, the 99s. There's a debate to be had there about what's a true and what's not, but
well, we wouldn't. I mean,
true. No, I mean, I think everybody's
the first.
Right. I mean, I think everybody's a little bit confused by it. Some people think that anything with that design is considered the true. For whatever year that is, Panini changed it up this year from past years. So it's got a little bit of a different look to it.
When you think of true, you're thinking out of 99, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what it's essentially been. But I love ripping Natty T. The Don Russ downtown chase, everybody's always all about that. But
never known to have some downtowns in our here or there.
A little bit.
Maybe a few.
Yeah.
But I've never been a chaser of that, like as far as ripping product. Because you're chasing one card, But when you talk about ripping product, I love seeing Prism. I really love Select and the look of it. I think Select has a...
International Hobby was by far one of my favorite products to rip this year.
Yeah.
I think the change for the XRC and the Select is absolutely one of my favorites.
Yeah, and I don't, when it comes to ripping product, I'm not so worried about the value of the product as much as I am the look of the product.
Right.
How much am I going to enjoy what I'm ripping, you get into the Spectres, probably the most underrated product in the hobby, but a phenomenal look to the product.
Spectre is by far my favorite product as well.
It's tough to grade because it's thicker, but the look, the design, absolutely love what Spectre's done. That's probably the product I've spent my most money on when chasing and ripping for sure. That and Obsidian.
Yeah, I spent a lot on Obsidian. My son and I, we love the Color Blast chase. They're clean. I like the black Color Blast actually better than I do the white from Prism, as far as the look of it. Prism's got the dual, which is great.
Yeah.
But no, in terms of the Color Blast, the black background,
I think one of the biggest cards I've hit was CJ Stroud out of Obsidian on the black Color
Blast.
Blast.
Did you?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Benji and Autumn on We the Hobby pulled it for me one morning. I was like, I got a jet. It's time to work. And they're like, just stick around one more second. I think he's seen the last card.
Wow.
It was CJ Stroud, Obsidian Color Blast.
That's sick.
Got a 9.5 on it and sold that sucker for like $5,000 at Dallas real quick.
Right. Yeah, it's phenomenal. But I mean, there's so many great looking products and different price levels too.
Yeah.
There's kind of something for everybody out there. There's a chase for everybody. Chronicles has some pretty cool looking things,
The Prism Black.
I like that they kind of bring everything together, into one product. I do like that about that. I think the Prism Blacks, I actually collect the Prism Black ones.
Okay.
I do. I have a whole collection of them. Just kind of a fun card to collect. But yeah, I like the Chronicles because it kind of tells a story,
right?
Of the product, and I like that.
I think for me, like for price point value wise, besides Prism, I really enjoy Mosaic. Just they have a lot of different case hits. I mean, the honeycombs don't really hold their value, but for your good solid rookies, a stained glass, kaleidoscope, and getting a peacock for a rookie that is notable. I mean, there's more than one chase that kind of really holds its value. So.
And you've got the Genesis too, which comes out of retail, which is great.
Yeah.
I mean, it's only out of retail though. So that's kind of like the retail case hit versus being able to find it in any product.
I remember hitting a CJ Stroud Genesis out of retail, and that was a pretty fun rip. We had nothing throughout the entire break, and it was just like, oh my goodness. And then last pack, last box, CJ Stroud Genesis, and me and Eric at the time, we went nuts.
You've hit way too many CJ Stroud.
Huh?
You've hit way too many CJ Strouds.
Well, I chased a lot of CJ Stroud. Sorry.
It was a good chase.
It was either him or Mahomes. I mean,
no, it was a great chase. And it's kind of like the Jaden Daniels chase this year. If you look at what he's done as a rookie, and
I think his chase is better than or bigger than.
Oh, it's bigger than CJ's, but right.
Which I didn't think you can get much bigger than what we were chasing after CJ, but
right. When you make the NFC Championship as a rookie, I mean.
No, it's phenomenal. It's what base Prism was selling at close to 2.5.
Yeah, that's insane.
That's
asinine, right?
That is asinine. Absolutely.
I need to go check the base store real quick just to make sure I don't have any of those.
Dude, I went as soon as I went straight over. I was like, what do I got? What do I got? What do I got?
Right.
Like immediately.
I still have 400 CJ Strouds that are, just that I never graded. They're just regular cards.
I remember when those come out. It was when I was still at the Brotherhood, and I had sent Eric just a ton. And this when he was doing pool boxes, and I mean he had put the cards in. There's a $3 pool box, and he had CJ Strouds and ARs like at the time just like NFL debuts, but colors. They were going $15-$20 a piece.
Right.
Oh yeah.
And I mean I thought that was big for basically a parallel that usually 5 years down the road doesn't have much value, but now that a base Prism is going for $2,500, like imagine if you got into a cheap Prism break and happened to hit the Commanders and now have a $2,500 card. Like that's part of what I love about the hobby.
Yeah, I mean, and that's dictated, pretty strongly with rookies, and that's definitely the chase. It's not proven players anymore. It's who's the next rookie and the next big chase. That was a big surprise
to me when I got in the hobby, the rookie. Because you're like, oh man, why wouldn't you want a 4-time Super Bowl champion? Vet auto. It's like, well, because the rookie, can hold value over. That was a real big shock to me.
Surpass that.
Correct.
You can't surpass it once you're retired.
Right. Yeah. And so that was kind of a shock to me. Kind of change your trajectory of where you're thinking. But it makes sense. Definitely makes sense.
Yeah.
We talked about some higher end, some Natty T's, Prism. Some more, a little bit of retail stuff. Is there anything else you guys like to?
I mean, flawless is king, really. When you talk about the looks, everything's numbered to 25 or less.
Yeah.
Not
cheap to get of those.
No, it's certainly not cheap. You're talking. I mean, anywhere between $4,000 and $25,000 just a case. And it's
what was a 2017? Sealed case for flawless was like $65,000.
Freaking ridiculous.
Yeah, it's nuts. I mean,
Mahomes, I love you, but that is way too much, my man.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
But so but I mean that's your massive chases, right? Yeah. Like those are your cards that are gonna hold value over time.
So you have a true flawless. I mean, Burrow. I mean, I don't think flawless was out when Brady was a rookie, but.
No.
But I mean, if you have the big boy card of the big boy player of the rookie year, I mean,
right,
it's worth some big boy money.
Joe Burrow, all those guys.
The 2020 product in that class. I don't
think
just
there's
phenomenal.
A better year for quarterbacks.
70s.
This upheld.
Yeah, no.
You know what I mean?
This year
everyone
maybe.
Chase Pickett.
This year maybe.
Yeah, we'll see. Within the next 2 or 3 years, we might be talking about this 24 class that came out.
I thought it was going to be the 23 class, but apparently they decided to
not do well.
Bryce had a little bit of promise at the end of the season.
Yeah, he finished strong at the end of the year.
I think that was the one that shocked us the most out of all 4 or 5 of them. Like Bryce, okay, cool.
Yeah. But no, I mean, Flawless is a great product. It holds a higher price point, but they're just gorgeous cards.
Yeah,
for sure.
I mean, the Shield Chase is probably the favorite for me, though.
Yeah, I mean, the Shield Chase is massive.
I've never hit one.
You know what really shocked the hobby is, when Fanatics entered the scene and got all these young quarterbacks to sign with them, you're no longer chasing the autos because they're not available.
Number cards.
You're chasing numbered cards and you're chasing patches, and because that's their biggest cards, right? Yeah. So it changed the market on the autos and
some top stuff to really.
And then you look at the Wembanyama chase, that wasn't even it was all numbered cards. But then when you had Topps come out with Mercury, which is all Wembanyama, the market just plummeted because they flooded the market with their autos so fast.
Sure did.
And that was an expensive rip.
Very expensive.
What was it, $8,000 for a case of it? Or a briefcase
For a box,
or whatever it was?
And I mean, very expensive product. They did a great job. The cards look phenomenal.
But they go from no autos to whatever.
Thousands.
Right.
Yeah, thousands, and then the only ones that's going to hold value is probably under 25 or the true 99 if that's.
Yeah, if you're lucky,
true
it
with the
depends
new
on what you
product.
consider the value. You know, it's not going to hold its initial value.
Right.
You know, nothing ever does. But yeah. So I mean, the what they've done, you know, with the autos for the rookies, you know,
It's
I
only
think
short term, right? I mean, once Fanatics takes over, then there'll be rookie autos again.
sure. Yeah, I mean but you just hope they don't flood the market.
True. I mean, what ARs?
I think they just did
Signature
a-
was a dime a dozen in any box
Right.
because he was the only notable rookie.
The
that
only one.
signed.
Right, the only one.
The only one.
Him and Clayton Tune,
And I think they're
No,
just
Sean Clifford.
Sean Clifford. Oh yeah.
Yeah, Sean Clifford.
yeah.
I
I
don't
think
want one of his at
they're
one time.
just releasing the Otani product, which is Otani based, and it's supposed to be like all the stars, and he's got a lot of doubles, but you know, with him and another player on the same cards.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, they're going to flood the market with Otanis at this point. So
I don't know how I feel about that.
I'm not a huge fan of watering down players.
No.
I think it's not the best for the hobby, but we'll see what they do. You know, Fanatics has got some pretty good minds behind it, so
Yeah. I like
we'll see what they come up with.
It'll be interesting, for sure.
So we've talked about some of our favorite product to rip. I know you both are pretty knowledgeable in it, like how to evaluate those cards for either grading or comping. Like how do you guys typically go about that when you see a card that's pulled?
You want to start, Core?
I mean, yeah, the first thing you look at is centering, obviously, when you pull a card, you know, and then you go around to everything and just examine the entire card, see what you can see.
You mean when you pull it out of the pack, it's not perfect?
You know, you'd be shocked.
I was.
Yeah, you'd be
9
shocked.
out of 10 aren't.
Well, what,
No,
Probably.
literally.
we said
So
in the previous shows, we've I come from Pokemon.
Yeah. And they're perfect.
They had very good quality control. If a card come out like that was misprinted, it was a misprint. You had something that was of value because it goes through quality control. I remember my first submission in Dallas whenever I got into the sports was absolutely horrid. Just thinking, oh, these are all packed fresh rips.
Yeah.
Right.
Thinking I got 10s, maybe 9s, and didn't truly even know about centering at the time. And getting a 7 on what I thought was a $2,000 card, like,
Yeah, no, it's
sorry to
tough.
cut you off, but
No, it's tough.
No, it happens. It
Yeah, it's
happens
tough.
all the time. You know, people, all they hear about is, grade this, grade this, grade this,
got
and
this
it's
right out. This is
it's
a
shoved
perfect
down their
card.
throat. You know, this is going to be a beautiful card. You need to grade this. You
Or
need to grade
even
this.
the ones that come sealed from Panini and still get 9s. Like,
Sure.
you know, like it happens.
Well, I think anything shipped in a one-touch has chances of being damaged, and when Panini does that, that's just
Yep.
a recipe for disaster, if you ask me. But
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, no, and so yeah, you're certainly looking at centering. Then you're looking at the corners. You're looking at the surface, in the light, and then you look at the back of the card and you see what's going on there, and hopefully things pass muster. And if they do, then you wipe the card off with a little microfiber cloth, and get yourself a 10x magnifying glass, or I use a stand with mine.
how
And
do you feel about Kurt's card care for stuff like that?
don't get me started. Nothing against the product. There's a place for it, I'm sure. But, I think when you go to altering the cards, and I think PSA is taking the same stance,
The chemical alter,
with
yeah.
when you're altering the card.
Yeah, 'cause we don't know how that's going to hold up long term.
Right. And that's the argument. What's it going to do? Once it is encased, is it going to have an issue? So yeah, not a huge fan. I think that, if you can't do it naturally to the card, with a microfiber and wiping it off, because all you're really trying to get off is the fingerprints,
Right.
and the oils that may have been transferred during shipping or, sleeving, anything like that. But yeah, from there, send it in there.
To who?
Yeah. Right.
Rocket, right?
That is the question.
I mean, yeah. So PSA holds the best value. Whether they have the best look, it's debatable. You know,
Very debatable.
there's a lot of people in the hobby that love the SGC look.
Black tie.
Yeah, the black tie look.
They look really good with vintage.
I love vintage. I love it for sure. And then obviously Beckett for the bigger, thicker cards. You know.
Yeah, I mean they're the have-to for the thicker cards, right? You know, I've seen some of these thicker cards come out from PSA, and they're in a thing like this big and 4 inches thick, and
the Zay Flowers RPA that was a booklet. And just a huge,
right?
And you're like, what is this?
12 by 12, right?
Yeah, where do I put this?
You know, and it gets a terrible grade to be, you know,
yeah,
at the end.
Have you ever
So
seen a 10 booklet?
no, it shouldn't exist, really, right. Given what it is. You know,
you fold it, you bend it, it gets a crease in the binding of it, like
right. So, but no, it's comping, and it's a different animal, you know, in the grading situation, and
I think each card has the right platform to grade it on.
Right. Yeah, would agree with that statement.
Yeah, I think PSA, if you pay for it, can have quick turnaround. But you gotta, if you have a really, really big card, you might be paying a little bit more for it to come back to you.
And that, you know, that's another topic. You know, that really, should we be paying an upcharge? Should they get a part of that? You know, I'm not paying for the grade. I'm paying you to do a service, and that service doesn't change.
And that service should not change because of the value of my card increased by the grade that you gave.
And I've only shipped to grade with SGC. Well, I gave them cards at Dallas and had shipped back to me, and graded in person at Dallas. Usually, if I'm going to grade for Beckett, it's rush delivery, RCR, something like that. But I guess the debate is, does the insurance increase if they send it back, right? So we're sending a raw, we gauge it at like $500, but after a 10, now it's a $3,000 card. The insurance for it to come back if it gets lost in the mail.
Yeah, but we've all shipped cards in the mail, and the insurance it does go up, right? But not to the extent that they want to increase the grading cost.
I mean, yeah, I ship orders out all the time, and you get $100 free insurance. I think USPS does up to $5,000, and I've never paid more than like $200 in insurance.
Right. Yeah. So you know, when you're upgrading from, you know, a $40 or $50 grading fee to, you know, up to $1,600 to grade a card, that starts to get a little bit steep, and you know, that tells me that they understand what the value of the card is, and they're now wanting their piece of your card. And
I think they need to get into conversations about pop control, and we can talk about this all night.
Sure, yeah. I mean, it's, you know, things like that are probably going to have to go into another show. It's, you know, and it doesn't stop for sure. You know, and the quality of the cards and that we're getting, you know, it's not like back in the 50s, 60s, 70s where everything's, you know, terribly off center, but, you know, we're still getting cards that are 7s and 8s and out of pack pool, you know. And
it's factory fresh, right? Like, let's have a little bit of pride in what we're putting out.
I just don't understand why quality control doesn't. You see a card coming through and you're like, oh, that's messed up, and take it off the belt. I just don't get it. I don't understand, but whatever.
We want to get into how hard people work and stuff like that nowadays.
Because
millennial gaps.
Right.
Yeah, no, it's you know, we can certainly tell that there's some issues within the process, but no, and that's also what makes it fun. You know, you think you got a big card and it comes in the mail and it's all jacked up, and you're, oh crap.
It's happened more times than not, or print lines, or scratches, or Well, it was good to kind of catch up with you guys a little bit again here today and talk about some of the favorite products to rip. The Super Bowl's coming up. I would like to just kind of get a take from each of you guys, just hear your thoughts on the Super Bowl, a prediction, who do you think is going to win by how much, and then at the bottom in the comments, I would love to hear from everyone that's tuning in, kind of what their thoughts are.
Sure, it's going to be a good game. I mean, both teams, I think, deserve to be here. You know, that comment's probably going to get blasted. But they do. I mean, both team, they're both good organizations, both good teams. KC going for history for sure. Will it happen? I don't know. Can they stop Saquon Barkley? Nobody really has. Guy puts up massive numbers. He's had a phenomenal year.
He does.
If they can keep him under 150 yards, then maybe they have a chance.
That's possible.
But, at this point, man, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see if.
Oh, hey guys.
Yeah, now it's time to leave.
Yeah, now we leave.
No, but I think we're in for a good game. I hope that the Eagles pull this one out. I think that they have a really good shot of it. It's going to be a decently high-scoring game. I'm 27-24 area. We'll kind of see what happens maybe. But, yeah, I'm going for Eagles.
Rude.
I'm just hoping for a good game because I am non-biased towards either teams. And I just hope.
Boo.
I
The
can't,
vanilla answer.
I cannot
So
give
vanilla.
my prediction on the game,
So vanilla.
but I would like to give a shout out to an official that is on the field.
Oh.
As my mentor, Jonah Monroe, is the back judge and got the game. So I am very proud of him as an official.
Let's get a little background
Yeah, I was gonna say,
here,
if you didn't
Cor.
know, Cor
If
is
you guys
an
don't know,
officiating.
we need to talk about Cor and what she does off the camera here. Cor, why don't you tell us a little bit about being an official? It's a pretty unique job.
It is a unique job. I will say, I mentioned my mentor, his wife actually coached me in high school. Just, years down the road, asked me if I ever thought about being an official. Said, nope, didn't know I could. And that was literally the game that it started, 13 years ago. And I've been doing it ever since. I'm a Division I football official now. It's taken me all across the world. Got me in some pretty big arguments all across the world.
Get you in some big arguments in chat, too.
It's been some big arguments in chat. But my thing is just trying to bridge the gap between the fan and the official and helping you guys understand what we see and what we're looking at on the field. Because I don't think that people really understand. My eyes can't be everywhere. And there's 8 of us on the field that all have something that we watch, and that makes us a team. And people make mistakes. Teams make mistakes. We're human. And imagine your mistakes being magnified and your split-second decision for a split-second decision that you made, and then it being magnified by the entire world. And so it's tough. It's
a non-rewarding job for sure.
It's a non-rewarding job, absolutely. But that's what I love about it. That's like that's what I love about it the most, is the non-rewarding part of it. Because I can go out, I can do my job, I can make the calls, and I'm confident in my calls. And then y'all can say whatever you want. I know I made the right call.
Yeah, my favorite part of the week is Tuesday morning when I get to come into your stream and really give you a hard time about calls that have missed. And
I'm sure
and everybody knows we have seen Patrick Mahomes get more calls.
I mean, just coming from a ref, do you feel that there's any bias towards Mahomes?
I do not.
She can't say. She can't say.
I do not.
I mean, that's coming from a ref that has a mentor that is hosting.
Yeah.
He's reffing in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I do not feel that I can honestly tell you that the officials that I know across the country are non-biased. We work so hard at our craft, literally 24/7, 365. That is our motto, because it is an everyday thing. You have to look at the rule book. You have to constantly get yourself out there, go to games, do this, do that. And so when we make a call that has such a whatever to the game, it hurts us. If I know that I made a call and it was a bad call, I don't sleep for days.
You don't just make it up on the next one?
For days. No, absolutely not. That is not what you do.
This isn't baseball.
No, this is not baseball. So, that's what I say. I can honestly say for the officials that I know across the world, across the country, we try to be non-biased, And when we make a call, you're making a call on a number of a player, not a team.
Right.
You're making a call on a player that you see, and you give the number.
Offense or defense.
Offense or defense. I'm not making a call on Patrick Mahomes, the Kansas City Chiefs quarterback. I'm making a call on number 15, red offense.
You guys heard it here. The only thing Patrick Mahomes is guilty of is playing better than his opponents and going 15-2.
And being the mini goat behind Tom Brady.
Hey, Tom Brady has beat him in the AFC Championship, and while be it a depleted offensive line in the Super Bowl as a Bucs. I will give Tom Brady his clout he deserves. He's a tremendous hard worker. Complained a lot, but
they all do.
A 7-8-time Super Bowl champion, whatever it is. Hey, Mahomes is chasing greatness right now, though. And I think he's chasing greatness right into a three-peat against the Philadelphia Eagles.
It's going to be a great game.
I think the Eagles have some great star power. A.J. Brown, Saquon, Dallas Goedert.
I will say, out of the 3 years that you guys have been in the Super Bowl, this might be the year that you're taken down. The last 2 years, it was no question. It was the Chiefs.
Didn't they just play the Eagles and basically they just have a running back now?
2 years ago.
But what I'm saying, the past 2 years there was no questions asked. It was.
I watched the games. I know.
We've talked about it. We've talked about it. This is statistically Mahomes' worst season.
Yeah, passing the ball.
It's just statistically across the board.
I would say that this, if there was a game that I felt the Chiefs could go down, it would be this one because of the way that they've played all year. But I know that this is the Super Bowl and it's for the three-peat, so you got kind of stuff all goes out the window.
You have arguably one of the best head coaches of all time.
Oh, I love
Andy Reid. One of the best tight ends of all time.
Love Andy Reid.
Sure.
Love
one of the best quarterbacks of all time.
We're not going there
yet.
You
have all the Swifties on your side.
Yeah, and we got Swifties and our dark voodoo magic. But one thing we do not have is
the Caitlin Clarks now.
All the Caitlin Clarks now. CC's family, so there you go.
But no, it is going to be a great game. It's the Super Bowl, the two most deserving teams.
I hope that it is everything that you wanted and more.
I just hope it's a great game, right? I don't think I could handle a Bucs Chiefs Super Bowl where Mahomes is parallel with the ground throwing the ball because he's running for his life the entire game. So
yeah,
it was good seeing you guys again. Thanks for hanging out. Thank you guys for hanging out with Card Gods Unleashed tonight. Good luck. Hopefully your team that you want to win wins. Comment down below and just let us know your predictions on the game. God bless.